Hi, my name is Jamita Brown, or like kids like to call me, Miss Jam. I'm the 4 H Youth Development Educator in Will County, and you're probably stopping by here because you signed up for our 4 H Fair Kits. Either you missed out on the fun, or you're here to do it again. Whichever you're here for, we're excited to have these playbacks available for you. So, we hope that you enjoy all of the fun that we had on the virtual fairgrounds. We know that this year in 2020 was a very weird year and we had to adjust so many different things, but we were glad that we could put this together so that our kids could have some fun. So thank you for coming to our virtual fairgrounds, and I hope that you have a great time.
That we can talk, right? I want you to ask me questions as we go along. If you have any questions, I got all your names: Jacob, Emily, Sophia, Kendall, Lily, Olivia, and
Layla.
and
Layla.
Leila.
Layla.
Layla. Okay, Layla. Okay, very well. Very well. Okay, so we're going to talk about planting, and we're going to talk about plants, so to speak. And all plants begin with a seed. But first of all, I want to ask you a few questions. When you hear the word seed, what comes to mind? Anything? What?
Plant.
Plant, yes. What else?
Tree.
Tree, yes. Flower, right? And
Bush.
what?
Bush.
A bush, yes, a bush is a plant. That's very nice. Did any one of you eat some cereal this morning? Nobody? Somebody ate some cereal this past few days? What are the cereals? What are cereals made of? I mean, what are cereals? They're seeds, right?
Yes.
So they are also food. We also eat from. So everybody can read. Where do we find seeds? Find some.
Peach.
Where?
Peach.
A fruit. You can get, yes, that's right. You get them fruits. All of you have eaten an orange, and inside the orange there is seeds, okay? Or you have eaten a cucumber, and inside the cucumber. And what else?
Watermelon.
Yes, lots of seeds in there, yes. And those are edible too, okay? So if you want to find some seeds, find some fruits, find some corn, that's seeds that we eat. Can you go to the supermarket and buy some?
You can buy sunflower seeds.
That's right. The other day I went to Walmart. I don't know if you can see me, and I bought some lima seeds. And Miss Jam bought you some lima seeds from Walmart too. So you can go to the store and buy some. All right. What do we use seeds for? We already said you can start new plants, right? Yes. You all said that you can grow flowers from seed. You can do trees, and you can do food crops. All the crops we eat come from seed.
And grass.
And grass as well. Yeah. When your lawn needs new grass, you gotta go buy some seed. Very good. Very good. The seeds from stores. Very nice. You guys are doing great. Okay. All right. Can we save seed? After you eat the watermelon, can you save the seed and get them dry, start your own plant next year? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Even tomato seeds, if you want to save them, dry them, you can start your own tomatoes next year. Instead of going to buy seedlings or buying more seed, you can save seed, all right? Why don't these days try doing that, okay? All right. Now, lots of seeds. Now, these seeds alive or dead?
Dead. Dead.
All right. They look like they're dead because they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there. Can we make them grow?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If we can make them grow, that means they are not really dead. They're just sleeping there waiting. And so we say they are dormant. Okay? They are asleep. They are in a quiescent mode. They're just quiet there. All right. So how many different types of seeds do you see here?
Corn, peas.
5. Who said 5? Somebody said
Something
5.
I can't
Yes. What are the seeds? What seeds do you see?
Corn,
There's corn,
peas,
peas.
Rice.
There's rice. Somebody said rice. Good. That's down here. What's this one right here?
Corn.
No, corn is this one. This one is what? Starts with a W. Did you say wheat? Wheat, right?
That's what I was gonna say.
This is beans. This is black beans over here, all right? Very good. So these seeds are just waiting until we give them the right conditions to grow, okay? All right. So sometimes we grow very beautiful flowers. Some of them are very beautiful, but they smell awful. You don't want to go smelling these flowers. This kind of flower here is not that smell good at all. But it's pretty, okay? Then give us their food. It's nutritional, right? If you want this little chick here to grow up, you're gonna give it some seed and it is going to grow into a big chicken, all right? Big, healthy chicken. We already talked about grains, that seed being food for us and food for other animals. And then seeds have a protective shell. And let me show you here. This is a lima bean. Can you all see me? Lima bean. And I can pull off the seed coat because I wetted it and it came off. It came right off the seed, right? This is the seed coat. And it gives the seed protection from harm. You know, insects might want to eat the seed, but this seed coat protects it from that. And then if it's not ready to grow, this protects it. So remember the seed coat, okay? It protects the seed and keeps it from harm. Can you guys read what I have on the, are you able to read what I have on the screen? You know how to read, right? Very well, very well. Okay.
He doesn't.
Let's go next. Seeds have a structure, okay? There's a little portion here of the seed right there. Can you see my cursor moving? Yes?
Yes.
This part will be the root. We'll call it the radicle. It will become the root. It will grow downwards. This portion up here, as you can see, will become the leaf, what you see above the ground. You don't see the roots because the roots are below ground. And this portion will come out and you see it out there. And the first few days of germination of a seed, the root and the leaves get nutrition from the seed. See this food store right here?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The endosperm. That's the one that provides the growing parts with food. All right? And we'll look at those in a minute, a little bit better. So remember, there are 3 things you need to remember. The embryo will be the one growing into the root, and it will also grow into the leaves. And then the endosperm, this yellow portion here, is the food for the growing baby plant, all right? And then the seed coat is the one that protects the embryo and the endosperm from anything that may want to eat them, like insects, okay? Right. Okay. Right. Yes, this is your lima seed, and I held it, see right there, I held it in place with a melon peeling. You know the peeling, the rind of the melon? I just made a little slit and I held the seed like that. I don't know if you can see me. And then when I held it like that, I took a picture of this part of the seed. Do you all have your seeds? You have seeds with you? Take a look at the front of the seed, upright. there is a little area here, that's where the seed was attached. And the thing I wanted you to see in this picture down, the two bottom pictures here, do you see a tiny hole there? I'm pointing at it with my cursor. And I'm
Mine
right
doesn't
here.
have one.
Can you see it with your naked? Can you see it with your eye? It's very difficult to see it with your eye. This is magnified. Can any one of you guess how I magnified this portion of this? How did I magnify it? I took my camera, you know, I opened up my camera, the phone, and once I turned it on, I enlarged the picture. And once you look at it from a distance, and you have to be very steady, that's why I put it on if one of you held it real steady and the other person holds it 4 inches away, and you make it bigger, you're going to see that small hole is called a micropyle. And you know what? When we plant the seed and give it water, the seed gets water through that hole, because the seed coat, remember the seed coat we just saw here? The seed coat protects the entire seed from getting water unless you put it in a situation where that small hole here, the micropyle, which is down here, gets water. Once it starts getting water, then it germinates. And we'll talk about that in a second. So,
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
see that question? Yes. So with your parents later on, ask them for their cell phones and magnify. Open the camera. Don't take a picture. It wasn't for taking a picture, but to magnify. You just take your camera, hold the seed nice and steady without moving, be about 4 inches away, and you're going to see that hole. That's one of your to do. Are your parents with you? Your parents are with you. They can do this with you later on. But remember that there's a little hole here through which water goes so that the seed can start germinating. All right? Okay. When we germinate seeds, we break the dormancy. Does everybody remember what dormancy is? What is dormancy? Just
Sleep.
what is it doing? It's like being asleep, yeah. It's like being asleep, but it is just there doing nothing, not growing, not germinating, nothing. It's just sitting there. And this is a healthy seed, by the way, not seed that has been cooked. If you cook it, it's dead. But if this is seed like from Walmart, which nobody has cooked, then well, that's going to be in a state of dormancy. It's just quiet, just sleeping. It's asleep. All right? So when we germinate seeds, we are breaking the dormancy. And once the seed starts growing, you get a root developing and a leaf developing. You see that in the diagram here, okay? And when you plant your seeds, always have the broad base at the bottom. So when you put it in the soil, see this? This is broad. Just put it in the soil like that or in whatever, all right? So that you have your root going downwards and the leaves coming up. What we call the shoot or the stem, all right? Okay, let's see how a seed germinates. If we want seed to germinate, we put it in what?
Dirt.
All right, let's call that soil. That is what you bring in the house.
Dirt.
Let's just call it soil for now. So you put it in soil. How deep do you put the seed? How deep? Yeah, so if you have soil is here, that's the ground level. How many, do you put it like 1 inch, 2 inches, 10 inches?
1.
That's a good answer.
3.
What you do is you make a hole that's for this seed because it's a, how big is this seed, by the way? Is it like an inch, half an inch, 1 inch?
Centimeter? Bigger than a centimeter. 2.
It's like 1 inch, right? So because it's 1 inch, you make a hole that is 2 inches. So that you see from the picture there, you don't just want to put it in 1 inch, you want to go 2 inches because it's itself 1 inch. If you put it too close to the surface, it will be burned by the sun too quickly. You want it to grow a little bit. And if you put it down like 12 inches, which is 1 foot, it will take forever to come up. It might even die down there. It's like you if I buried you in sand, a lot of sand. By the time you wade out, it's a long time. You'll be tired, you'll be not breathing. The same seed. You don't want to put it too deep. But this is a big seed. The lima seeds are big. You can put it in 2 inches, like that depth. All right? So like that depth. No more. Don't bury it too deep. That's one thing. So you put it 1 inch, and when do we plant?
When soil is wet.
When soil is warm, which means we can't plant when?
In winter.
In winter. It will be too cold. So that's one thing you always need to remember. You cannot plant in cold soil. You need to wait until the soil is warm. Is that Jacob? Was that Jacob who said when it's warm? Winter time, yeah? Thank you, Jacob. All right. So you put seed in soil. All right. We start like this one, 2 inches. All right, 2 inches. All right. Then you add water. Remember, if the soil is dry and if the micropyle does not get water into the seed, then you're not going to get that seed to germinate. It will not start growing. So you do that, and then you do what? You just wait. All right. And then keep your plants watered. Okay. So maybe the second or third day, the root starts to come out. Can you see that root there? Yeah, it is. This one right there is the root starting to develop. Now the leaves are developing inside the seed right there. All right. Let's see what happens maybe day 3. Day 3, now you have a bigger root, right? And you can see that the stem here, or the root, the top of the root is starting to become a stem. Here it is. The green part there is starting to sense the sun. That's why it has turned green. The leaves are still inside the seed, okay? Right, let's see what happens. Maybe day 4, it has come out of the ground. Can you tell me what's happening now? What's happening to the seed coat? What has happened to the seed coat?
Oh, for sure. So why did I miss?
What happened to the seed coat there? Number 4, day 4.
It fell out. It fell off.
It's been shed off. It's fallen off. That's correct. It doesn't need it anymore. Doesn't need it anymore. All right. Now you notice here that you have those 2. Okay. I'm going to open up this seed of lima bean, and I'm going to show you that it has two halves, 2 sides, right? And that's what you're seeing above there. Halves come out, and they are not true leaves. They are called cotyledons. They are not true leaves. But you see a true leaf inside there. The green part there is a true leaf starting to. You got that? Let's go to day 5. Now day 5, the cotyledons or the false, the not real leaves are showing here, and new leaves, true leaves, the proper leaves that you know are showing here. All right? All right. Very well. On Monday of this week, I decided that I was going to test how seeds germinate, or which seeds germinate fastest, or which seeds germinate at a higher rate than others. And so the first row of seeds is garden beans. These are beans, garden beans. And they've all germinated today. I took this picture just an hour ago. They've all germinated. You can see the roots, right? The first row to the left. The second row, of course, that's all lima beans. The lima beans, 4 out of 5 have germinated. I can see the root coming through, right? The third row, or the middle row, that's peas. And the bottom 2 and 1 above, let me see if I can show you here, has also germinated. So 3 out of 5. So maybe tomorrow the other 2 will have germinated and these others will have produced leaves, maybe. The black ones, the 4th row, or the 4th column, I should say, are watermelon seeds. And you all know watermelon seeds, right? None of them has germinated. Does that mean they'll not germinate? No, they take a bit longer. They only take a bit longer because the seed coat is very hard. And the last column there of seeds, the brown ones, are cantaloupe seeds. 2 of them just started germinating today. So again, 2 out of 5. The watermelon, 0 out of 5. So different seeds take different times to germinate. So you got to wait. So Miss Jam gave you some items and we are going to be having an activity. You see me, yeah? Miss Jam gave you a pot and then gave you the seed, the soil disc. This is a soil disc. Once you put, you have one of those?
Mr. James, do they need water for this?
Yes, but in a minute, well, I guess they can do it
We
now.
don't have one of
They could
those.
do it now.
You need to we're gonna
Soil. Those
grab
soil.
supplies. So if you don't have any water, you're gonna need some water, and then you're also gonna need like a plate, whether it be styrofoam or something like that.
That's a styrofoam plate I have right here. And you can use anything else that is available. I got this styrofoam box when we ordered some food. I saved this. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, and all the seeds that I just showed you a minute ago. The germination one.
All your stuff in your kit. You're probably gonna need some paper towels so you don't make a mess. Something like a paper plate or a styrofoam plate. I mean, not paper plate. And then you're gonna need the kit that I gave you. So if you haven't gotten those things, then that's what you're gonna need to grab. And then maybe some scissors with the help of your
Miss Jam. So you got this soil disc. If you put it in water, it gets bigger. Can you all see? Can you see what I'm holding? Yeah. This was the same size as this one. Once it absorbs water, it gets to be that bigger. Same thing with the sponge that you are given. It's this thin. See how thin it is? Then it absorbs water, it gets to be this bigger. So you're going to immerse the two.
Hold on, Mr. James, hold on. Does everyone have their materials? Hold it up so we can see. And do you have water? Does everyone have water or?
What are the 2 round things?
Soil.
Soil discs. You have this?
I don't think we have any soil discs.
We don't have any.
Oh, if you don't have any, then I'll mail them to you. I'll write that down. You should have had some.
Okay.
Were they in the bag with the cup, with the plants? No, we only had the beans, the sponge, and the little cups.
Okay, well, he won't need the soil disc too much, but I'll mail one to you and mail the tie-dye.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Jam. Oh, thank you for letting us know what you don't have. But yeah, when you immerse this in water, and I don't know if you can see here, there's a little bit of water in this plate. If I immerse this, you can see it expanding right away. Well, not right away, but it doesn't take long to get big. I don't know if you can see from there, but it expands, open it up because it's kind of sealed. Open the top up and then get one of your seeds and do your best to immerse it to put it in the all the way in as much and
Show us, Mr. James.
and keep it covered. Then just let it sit in water. That's all you need to do. Okay. Now, with the sponge, all right, because you don't have that to demonstrate the sponge. I did cut my sponge into 2 halves because I wanted one which has water and one which doesn't have. But you have a sponge that is this size. Your parents will help you to make a slit, like right there. Are you seeing me? Now, your parents will help you to cut because this is a
Move your camera down a little bit on your hands.
Can I do what?
Move your camera down, like tilt it down a little bit on your hands.
How about that?
Perfect.
Okay, so this is a razor. I've been using a razor myself because obviously I play safe with these things. Your parents need to let you do not slit this way because it's not deep enough. Go the other way, right there, like so. Try your best to make it as deep as possible. If you can go all the way right through, all the way to the other end, the better, because then the root will find its way down the, well, don't.
Hold on, Mr. James. So I see some flat sponges. So did anyone do the first step of wetting your sponge?
Yes.
Did
Please
anyone
do
do
that.
that first step? You have to wet that. Okay, so you're saying no. So that's the first step. You want to wet the sponge. It's a flat. It looks very flat. I was amazed. I never seen anything like that. So you need to put that in water first.
Yes.
That's your first step. You want to put that in water first. You can use the water that you have, but that's going to be your first step, and it's going to grow into the sponge.
That's really good.
Okay, this one, because I cut it into 2, I'm not able to cut it as well as I should have. But anyway, this might even be the better way, considering that I had a difficult time with the other sponges, and I'll let you know why. And then all you do.
Hold on, Mr. James. Because they're all, okay, we finally have our sponges. So now, can you hold up yours, Mr. James, again?
Yes, I am. Okay.
So now if you have a parent with you on the long side, right, Mr. James? Or
The pointed side, I forgot what I said. What the pointed side, I think, looks down. I think it's the one that goes down.
Well, no, with the sponge. So they're on the sponge step.
Yes. What about
now
it?
they're going to cut what part?
Oh, you're going to cut. Can you see what I've cut here?
Yes.
Not when it's lying flat. It's got to be upright because it's too thin that way. So you gotta cut it upright. And it's okay to cut it the way I've cut it right now because it's thin anyway. Okay.
So on the long side, you're going to cut that part in. If you don't have a parent with you, or if you're not old enough to use scissors, then you need to get somebody to come.
Right. And then
put a slit on this long side.
Right. And then simply.
Wait, Mr. James, we're gonna wait for everybody.
All right. Waiting. Okay.
So we're waiting for Lily.
I do this.
So do you have yours? Do you have your? Do you
Yeah,
have the
you
one
cut a slit along the long side. Like a box knife or something.
Okay, we got Lily something to cut for her. If you have your slit cut already in your sponge, give me a thumbs up. And you're just waiting for the next step.
Thumbs up. Yeah. If you have cut you.
Okay, so Lily, your mom is going to help you cut on the long side. You're going to cut into that part. Mr. James, can you show on the
Like as deep as you can go.
So yeah, your sponge the lengthwise. That's a lengthwise position of it. So instead of cutting when it's flat like that, because it has no depth, we will cut, don't know how to explain this.
Kind of like
From the top,
inside of
from the top to the bottom like that, so that you have depth. You need a lot of depth because this plant will grow all the way down. So you need,
I think we cut it red.
Are we cutting a pocket inside of it?
you're just making a slit.
Yes, I'm
Oh, you need a little bit deeper.
a little bit, but not all the way deep down. So kind
You
of
don't want to go all the way to the end. You still want it to be able to sit like that. Can you see it? Can everybody see?
Like a book.
hold it up again, Mr. James.
Can you show me one more time, please?
Yes. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut this way, right here.
Yes.
Okay.
That-
And is everyone else cut theirs? Wow, because we want to make sure everyone's doing the right step. So show Mr. James and make sure that you have the right, show it to the camera to make sure you have the right sponge cuts.
I should cut deeper, right? If it's this deep.
Emily and Sophia, she's showing. How deep did you go?
On the long side, we cut it. Should I go deeper?
You go deep as deep as you can, and be
Oh,
careful.
okay.
And be careful, but don't go all the way. You don't go
Okay.
all the way, but go as deep as you can.
Okay, good, Kendall.
See mine there? I didn't go all the way to the bottom.
What about
Can
you,
you see?
Jacob?
Can you see it? Can you see mine? I didn't go all the way to the bottom because I still want the two halves to be joined at the base there. All right?
We'll get some scissors.
You get it, right?
Yes.
And then the idea with a sponge is that it is able to absorb water, and you want your seed to be having water all the time. Okay? All right?
Okay, and Jacob, did your mom, she's coming back with scissors? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna wait real quick, Mr. James.
And a knife, a sharp knife can do it too, but let your parents help you with that.
Absolutely. We're waiting on Jacob's mom to come back with the scissors, and then we'll move to the next step, Mr. James. But I think I saw Kendall's, hers is good.
Yes. Yes.
We have Lily's mom cutting hers now. I should have made myself one. I didn't.
Deeper than that?
Yes. Go deeper because that root will be long. Yeah. Although by that time anyway, you'll want to pick it out and transfer it to a pot. I cut mine with a laser, so that's why probably, yeah.
What? To make SpongeBob?
So about halfway down?
Yeah, you could do halfway. That's it. Halfway. If you can do 3/4, that would be better. If you can do 3/4. 3/4 of the way down.
Okay, check these, Mr. James.
That should work. And if anybody has any
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And so the idea is that there will be water around the seed. And so when you pick your seed, and I don't remember what I said earlier on, the pointed side should be the one facing downwards. I don't know if you can see that. The seed has a flat base on top and a pointed bottom there, right? The pointed part goes into the sponge like that. Don't get it all the way to the bottom.
Can you put the camera down a little bit more?
Yeah. Does everybody see what I did?
No, we didn't. Can you tilt your camera?
Oh. I can't see myself on the, that's, if I could see myself, I would be knowing what you're seeing, but I don't see myself.
No, we only see, we can't see your hands. You might have to tilt it down more. Yep. We can see it.
You can see this now? Okay.
Yes.
Very well. So I open it up, and all I do is I don't put it all the way to the bottom because the root will need some space to go down. So I put it halfway up, maybe, yeah, like so. And I can, within one sponge, your sponge, 3. And take one here. Can you see? Are you able to see? And this is the other one we just started filling with water, by the way, the soil disc.
So you all need to take your
So you can have one somewhere there, another seed in the middle, and another seed on the side. So you can have 3 seeds.
So go ahead and grab your seeds. Do y'all remember what Mr. James said, or which side is up, which side?
The pointed side goes to the faces downwards. And don't put it all the way down to the bottom. Kind of leave some room. And then find a foam plate, or borrow a plate from your mom or somebody somebody else, and put your sponge in a plate, and then don't forget to add some water. I don't know if you can see here, some water. Keep it.
We put 3 seeds in one
You
sponge.
put some water and enough water, not just.
No, it's right.
How are we doing? Everybody doing fine? Jacob?
So they have room for the roots.
So they should put their sponges on their plates and then go ahead and water their plates.
Add water and make sure that every day there is water there. You don't want it to run dry. And the sponge will pick up water every day.
How much water would you say they need to add?
Well, the part of the sponge that they did not cut should be covered, should be immersed in water.
Okay.
You want the seed should never be inside water. It should not be in water. It's not going to germinate properly. It should just be moist, and that's why the sponge is going to keep the seed moist. So cover the sponge. Can you see? I don't know if you can see from there, but with this sponge of mine, I would cover maybe a third of it. Just
so everyone, hold on, Mr.
A quarter of it.
So everybody tilt your cameras down so that Mr. James can see to make
Actually, I can see most of them, yeah.
Tilt your camera down so he can see your plates and your sponges.
How you doing, Kendall?
Yes, Kendall, you don't need the pot until later. You don't need that until your seed grows some.
Oh, well, we can also talk about it today, but she can also wait, yes.
So everyone should have added some water to their plates, right, Mr. James?
Correct.
Does it matter that the sponge is hanging open with the seeds in it?
No, it doesn't. As long as it's wet, it will wet. Actually, you know, that's the better way, and that's a good question. And I'm going to show you something else real quick. I tried to do the same thing. Can you see this sponge that I just put here?
Yes.
Now, the slits I made in these sponges are pressing the seed too much and not germinating. They're not performing, because how would you like to be? How do you like to be between a rock and a hard place? So by not opening up this a little more, these have been pressed too tight, and they're not opening up to release the roots and the leaves. But in this particular sponge, I just see that one of the, so the lima beans have not done a good job, whereas the pea seed has germinated, and it wasn't having an easy time either. The pressure is just too much. So I should have opened this more, and it would have been a better, you probably would be seeing a plant right now. None of the ones I did performed very well. You see, these are also struggling to open up. The pressure is just too much on them from these sponges. I got a small sponge as well. I tried a small sponge, which you can see right here. and this didn't work well. If I pull this out, yes, some germination is just beginning now, and this has been a whole 4 days. The pea seed has not even started where it has started. There's a tiny, tiny little root right there coming through. That is, so the pressure from these sponges have been too much. So the way we've opened up is probably a bit better. And also I've been, every day I've been coming with some water on top of the sponge and giving it a little bit of a, extra motion, because it will run off. Every day I've been doing that.
I have a question. So when
Yes.
they water their sponges, should they do what you did, water it on top, or should they just only be adding water to their plates?
For sure. Make sure that there's water right there.
So on your plates. So you
But once you do that and you have a little water remaining in your container, just do it on top here, because the excess will always go back to but you're helping the seed to make sure it's moist. It's not going to be underwater, right?
when do you think
Moist.
we'll see some germination? How quickly do you think it'll happen?
4 days. If it's 4 days, you should start seeing something coming through. 3 even 3 days. Okay, and you don't need light for germination to happen. You don't need light, but growth, once it starts growing, then you need light, because sunlight helps plants make carbohydrates, make food. All right. But for right now, don't worry about that. You only need to worry about the 3 things we talked about. Warmth. That's why we don't grow things in winter. Neither can you put this in a refrigerator. It will not grow. Then you need water. Those 2 things are the things you need to worry about, warmth and water. Therefore, you can have this in the windowsill of your kitchen or living room or somewhere else, even outside, as long as the squirrels don't come to mess you up. You can have it outside as well. Just put it somewhere. I had these outside, the ones what I showed you here. These I had them outside overnight so that I could speed up the process, because the air conditioner in the house is keeping the house cool. So I took them outside, and during the night, they really had a good time germinating. So what else can you do? Any questions, by the way? You're asking good questions, all of you.
I have a question. So
Yes.
when it's in the sponge, you don't need any dirt in it, right? You just
don't need any what?
When it's in the sponge, you don't need dirt. Only dirt when you transfer it to the pot, right?
That's correct. That's very correct. Remember, what is the growing root and the growing leaves eating when they are growing? Where are they getting nutrition from?
The food storage in the seed.
The endosperm, yes. All this seed, most of this, all of this is food. And the little root comes out of here, grows this way. The leaves grow this way, but the food is coming from here. For you guys to grow up, you have to eat food. Same thing with that root and shoot, the stem, or the leaves. They all
transfer it. Following up to Emily's question, you can move your camera up. When would they transfer it to the soil? And I'll send Jacob his soil disc.
Right. You can get some potting mix if you have some around the house. Put it in that pot that you have, wet it, and then very carefully make a hole with a stick. I have a stick here. Or even a pencil, I don't know, a stick like this. Can you see me? Mm-hmm. Yes, if you take a stick like this and make a hole in the soil, like, I don't know if you can see me making a hole. You have that little plantlet that is growing. Make sure that you don't break the root. So place it very carefully. And the other thing you can do also with the pot that Miss Jam sent you, put some soil in it, make a hole like I did, and I said 2-inch deep. Push your seed with the pointed end downwards. Push it in about 1.5 to 2 inches. Then cover it with soil, and then just wait. It will come up. Your lima bean will come up.
Kendall, did you have a question for Mr. James?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I need to get off.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you on Monday for painting.
Kendall, thank you for coming. Thank you for your patience and your attention, all right? Have a nice weekend. Yeah.
Leave, okay?
Bye. Mhm.
Wait.
So anybody else have a question? Hi, Lily?
Oh, I don't know where she went. Any last question?
Emily, you have a question? Okay, each one of you tell me, what did you learn today? So tell me one thing you learned today.
I learned that the plant gets the food from the seed in early
Absolutely.
stages.
Okay, very well. When it starts growing, the food comes from the seed. What else? Did anybody else learn something? Just
I learned
one thing. Yes, go ahead.
Learned that the seed can't be in coldness, so it has to be outside in the warmth or by a window.
Okay, did you get that, Miss Jam? Can you repeat what he said?
I learned that the seed means warmth, so you either have to have it outside when it's hot outside, or have it by a window if it's cold outside and you need sunlight to make it.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. Jacob, isn't that something?
I learned that there's 3 sections of a seed.
How about a high five? High five. Yeah. Yeah. You guys were good. These guys were listening and they're good. Very well. What else? What else did we need to talk about, Miss Jam?
That was it. And I think, so within, you saw how Mr. James had the presentation, how about 3 days or 4 days, you'll see some roots. So about, you need to water your seeds every day. You need to water the styrofoam or wherever you have it. That way it can grow, because if you forget to do that, then it won't grow. And then once it's grown some roots, then you will transfer it to your pot. So everyone has soil discs except for Jacob, and I'll send yours in the mail. But if you have any potting mix around the house too, you can use that. But the soil disc, you'll add water to it, like Mr. James said, and it'll grow into that. And then you can put that in there, and you can add some extra soil too.
Right.
So one thing we need to tell Mr. James.
Wait, before we finish, let me see if there was something else here. All right, these are the things that I was trying to use myself. Styrofoam, this is from left, throwing away from ordered food. The sponge, the green one, was from Walmart. You don't have to be that fancy. Miss Jam sent you easy ones to work with. This was my experiment here. I made those slits, but I said the pressure was just too much on the seed, so they didn't grow very well. I would have expected to see some seed today. The way you've done yours, there's not too much pressure on the seed. We'll see what happens. These are, well, Miss Jam will be sending you these soil discs that I showed you earlier on. This is the one that I showed you earlier on, and it has absorbed water. This is the one from last night. They get bigger and bigger. You need to open them at the top here because they are sealed. Right? You need to open it up so that you can have you have room to insert your seed. Okay. And then finally, you can germinate your seed directly by planting into the soil, or you can get your germinated plant and transfer it to the pot that you're seeing over there. So you're going to try the sponge. you're going to try the Jiffy pot. I call it Jiffy pot, but this is a soil disc, okay? And then soil in pot, and remember to keep everything moist. Make sure nothing is swimming. Nothing should be underwater, but should be moist, all right? And then check the 3 of them, which is the most successful. Did one of them bring forth the new plants quicker than the others? And then did you see the 2 cotyledons? Remember not the true leaves. The first leaves are not true leaves. Is the true leaves. When do you see those? Is it in 3 days, 4 days? Is it the same time in the sponge, in the soil disc, or in the pot? All those. And thank you so much for your attention. And Jamita.
Thank you. So like Mr. James said, we're going to challenge you. You did the one with us with the sponge. So we challenge you to try it in the Jiffy pot, whether it's today or another day, and then try, if you have some soil already in your house, try it already. You have two, you should have 2 pots, so you can try the Jiffy pot and you can try transferring that one into the soil, and you can try one with just soil. And then just take pictures, let us know your findings, so that you can kind of do your own experiment in a sense. So you already did the one with us today